Today we have a practice test for the CompTIA Network Plus N10-009 exam. This is going to go over the first section of the exam. There's 5 sections. This is going to go over networking concepts. This is the biggest section in the exam objectives document that they outline on the CompTIA website. So we have everything from here, all the network concept section, everything from 1.1 over to 1.8. So it's actually the biggest section of all 5 sections. Let's get it started because we have a lot of content to cover today. So first question, what does layer 1 physical of the OSI model handle? It defines how data is encoded, transmitted, and received over physical media. It ensures reliable data delivery between devices. It manages logical addressing and routing of data, or it manages encryption and decryption of data. Correct answer is it defines how data is encoded, transmitted, and received over physical media. Next question, which of the following is the main function of Layer 2 data link in the OSI model? It establishes, maintains, and terminates sessions between applications. It routes packets between different networks using IP addresses. It handles error detection and correction and manages physical addressing, or it encrypts data for secure communication. Correct answer is that it handles error detection and correction and manages physical addressing. What is the primary responsibility of Layer 3 network in the OSI model? It ensures reliable data transfer through segmentation and reassembly. It assigns IP addresses to devices and handles packet routing between networks. It manages data compression and encryption, or it provides end-to-end communication between processes. And if you need some extra time, you can always pause the video and think about it some more. I'm kind of going a little bit possibly too fast for some people, possibly too slow for some people, depending on how comfortable you are with the content in here. What is the main role of Layer 4 transport in the OSI model? It maintains the communication sessions between devices. It handles the logical addressing and routing of data packets. It provides reliable data delivery and manages flow control, or it ensures data is encrypted before being transmitted. Correct answer is it provides reliable data delivery and manages flow control. Also keep in mind that this is just the OSI model. There are other models that have more or less layers in them, so this is not the only one. This is just the one that's going to be on the CompTIA Network Plus exam. Which of the following is the primary function of Layer 5 session in the OSI model? It manages the physical transmission of data between devices. It maintains and controls the communication sessions between applications. It encrypts and compresses data for transmission, or it handles the routing and forwarding of packets between networks. Layer 5 session. Primary function. Correct answer is it maintains and controls the communication sessions between applications. What is the main purpose of Layer 6 presentation in the OSI model? It ensures the integrity of the transmitted data. It maintains session management between communicating devices. It assigns IP addresses and manages routing tables, or it provides encryption, compression, and translation of data formats. Layer 6 presentation in the OSI model. Correct answer is it provides encryption, compression, and translation of data formats. Which layer of the OSI model is responsible for providing network services to end-user applications? Layer 1 physical, Layer 4 transport, Layer 7 application, or Layer 5 session? And if you guys want us to do a video specifically on going over the different layers of the OSI model, definitely let us know and we can do that. Correct answer is Layer 7 application. What is the primary function of a router in a network? To forward data packets between devices within the same network, to assign IP addresses to devices on the network, to route data packets between different networks based on IP addresses, or to monitor network traffic for performance issues. The primary function of a router in a network? Correct answer is to route data packets between different networks based on IP addresses. What is the main function of a switch in a network? To route data packets between networks based on IP addresses, to store and manage files in a centralized location, to forward data packets within the same network based on MAC addresses, or to secure network traffic by encrypting data. The main function of a switch in a network. Correct answer is to forward data packets within the same network based on MAC addresses. What is the primary role of a firewall in network security? To provide a secure gateway for routing data across different networks, to prevent unauthorized access and monitor incoming and outgoing traffic based on security policies, to detect and respond to network threats, or to handle encryption and decryption of data packets. The primary role of a firewall. Correct answer is to prevent unauthorized access and monitor incoming and outgoing traffic based on security policies. What is the primary function of an intrusion detection system? IDS, to block malicious network traffic, to prevent unauthorized access to network resources, to assign IP addresses to devices on the network, or to detect and alert on potential security threats in real time. Intrusion detection system, IDS. Correct answer is to detect and alert on potential security threats in real time. What is the main difference between an intrusion detection system, IDS, and intrusion prevention system, IPS? An IDS only detects threats, while an IPS detects and blocks threats in real time. An IDS is used for network management, while an IPS is used for encryption. An IDS requires manual configuration, while an IPS is automated. Or an IDS manages IP address assignments, while an IPS handles data traffic routing. The main difference between an IDS and an IPS. Correct answer is an IDS only detects threats, while an IPS detects and blocks threats in real time. What is the purpose of a load balancer in a network? To monitor and secure the network's data traffic, to distribute incoming network traffic across multiple servers to ensure optimal resource usage, to assign IP addresses to devices on the network, or to provide a centralized location for storing network data. The purpose of a load balancer. Correct answer is to distribute incoming network traffic across multiple servers to ensure optimal resource usage. What is the role of a proxy in network security? To allow devices to connect directly to the internet, to act as an intermediary between clients and servers, often to filter content and provide anonymity, to route data packets between different networks based on IP addresses, or to store network data in a centralized location. The role of a proxy. Correct answer is to act as an intermediary between clients and servers, often to filter content and provide anonymity. This is something that many people will not use in their personal life, and then as soon as they get to work, it is literally everywhere. What does network attached storage provide in a network? A system for providing high-speed internet access to multiple users, a service for managing IP address assignments, a solution for encrypting and securing network communications, or a centralized storage system that allows data access and file sharing over the network. Network attached storage. What does it provide? Correct answer should be an easy one, is a centralized storage system that allows data access and file sharing over the network. What is the primary function of a storage area network, SAN? To connect computers and devices with a local area network for file sharing, to provide centralized high-speed storage access over a network, to secure network traffic by encrypting data, or to manage IP address assignments within a network. The primary function of a storage area network. Correct answer is to provide centralized high-speed storage access over a network. What is the purpose of wireless technology in networking? To provide a secure method for secure method for data transmission, to allow devices to communicate over the air without physical connections, to manage routing between different subnets, or to encrypt data packets transmitted between devices. The purpose of wireless technology. What a challenging question. Correct answer is to allow devices to communicate over the air without physical connections. It's a really challenging one, guys. I know. It was a struggle for all of us. What does an access point do in a wireless network? It connects wired devices to the wireless network. It routes data between multiple subnets in a network. It connects devices to the internet through a broadband connection, or it provides security by monitoring unauthorized wireless devices. An access point, AP. I feel like this is kind of not a great definition of this, but it connects wired devices to the wireless network. I personally would put a different definition, but what is the role of a controller in a wireless network? It encrypts the data transmitted between wireless devices. It assigns IP addresses to devices on the wireless network. It acts as a central point of management for multiple access points and devices, or it monitors and secures wireless communication channels. The role of a controller in a wireless network. Correct answer is it acts as a central point of management for multiple access points and devices. What is the purpose of applications in a network? To manage network routing and IP address allocation, to provide specific functionalities for end users or devices within a network, to secure data transmission over the network, or to monitor and optimize network traffic. The purpose of applications in a network. Correct answer is to provide specific functionalities for end users or devices within a network. What is the role of a content delivery network, CDN? To distribute content like images and videos to users based on geographic location, to secure content by encrypting data during transmission, to provide centralized storage for content in the cloud, or to assign IP addresses dynamically to devices requesting content. The role of a content delivery network. Correct answer is to distribute content like images and videos to users based on geographic location. What is the primary function of a virtual private network, or VPN? To create a local area network between devices, to assign unique IP addresses to devices within a specific subnet, to enable secure connections between remote users and a private network, or to monitor and manage internet traffic. The primary function of a VPN. Correct answer is to enable secure connections between remote users and a private network. What does quality of service ensure in a network? QoS, quality of service. It encrypts network data to improve security. It assigns IP addresses to devices in a network. It routes network traffic efficiently based on device type, or it prioritizes network traffic to ensure high-quality service for critical applications like voice and video. Quality of service. Correct answer is it prioritizes network traffic to ensure high-quality service for critical applications like voice and video. What does time to live, TTL, represent in networking? The maximum number of hops or routers a packet can traverse before being discarded, the time it takes for data to travel from one device to another, the amount of time a device waits before sending a response, or the lifespan of an IP address assignment in a network. Time to live, TTL. Correct answer is the maximum number of hops or routers a packet can traverse before being discarded. What does network functions virtualization provide in a network environment? Network function virtualization. It provides a physical network infrastructure for all virtual devices. It assigns IP addresses to devices in a cloud-based network. It virtualizes network infrastructure services such as firewalls and routers to reduce hardware dependencies, or it ensures data encryption during network traffic. Network function virtualization. Correct answer is it virtualizes network infrastructure services such as firewalls and routers to reduce hardware dependencies. What is a virtual private cloud, VPC? A private network hosted within a public cloud infrastructure allowing for secure and isolated network resources, a dedicated physical server managed entirely by the user within a data center, a cloud service that manages IP address assignments for virtual machines, or a network protocol used to securely transmit data over the internet. Virtual private cloud. So this one is a private network hosted within a public cloud infrastructure, allowing for secure and isolated network resources. What is the role of a network security group in cloud environments? To configure the virtual private network settings for isolated communication, to provide storage for data that needs to be accessed by multiple users, to manage the IP addressing and routing for virtual networks, or to define rules that allow or deny traffic to virtual machines based on security policies. Network security groups in cloud environments. Correct answer is to define rules that allow or deny traffic to virtual machines based on security policies. What is the function of a network security list in cloud environments? To define a list of IP addresses allowed or denied access. To define a list of IP addresses allowed or denied access to cloud resources, to configure access control policies for virtual machines, to store network configuration settings for security groups, or to manage traffic routing between different subnets in the cloud. Network security lists in cloud environments. Correct answer is to define a list of IP addresses allowed or denied access to cloud resources. The phrasing on that is a little funky. As you could tell, I was having trouble reading it. What does a cloud gateway do in a cloud environment? It manages the storage and access control for cloud applications. It monitors network traffic to prevent security breaches. It connects a private network to a public cloud, allowing secure communication between them, or it assigns IP addresses to devices within a cloud network. A cloud gateway. What does it do in a cloud environment? Correct answer is it connects a private network to a public cloud, allowing secure communication between them. What is the role of an internet gateway in a cloud network? It allows communication between a virtual private cloud and the internet. It provides a secure tunnel for data transmission within the virtual private cloud. It encrypts internet traffic to ensure secure communication, or it assigns private IP addresses to devices within the cloud network. An internet gateway in a cloud network. Correct answer, it allows communication between a virtual private cloud and the internet. What does a network address translation NAT gateway do in a cloud environment? It secures cloud traffic by encrypting data between devices. It allocates IP addresses to devices within a cloud network. It routes traffic between different subnets in the cloud, or it allows multiple devices in a private network to share a single public IP address for internet access. Network address translation, NAT, gateway in a cloud environment. Correct answer is it allows multiple devices in a private network to share a single public IP address for internet access. What is the purpose of VPN, virtual private network, in cloud connectivity? To route data traffic more efficiently between cloud-based virtual machines, to store network configurations for cloud resources, to create a secure encrypted connection between a private network and a cloud service over the internet, or to monitor and control the bandwidth of cloud resources. The purpose of a VPN, or virtual private network. Correct answer is to create a secure encrypted connection between a private network and a cloud service over the internet. I feel like this was redundant because we had one very similar to this already. What does a direct connect provide in cloud connectivity? A secure encrypted connection between remote users and cloud resources, a VPN solution to connect cloud services with external networks, a virtualized network infrastructure for managing cloud resources, or a dedicated high-speed, low-latency connection between an on-premises data center and a cloud provider. Direct connect in cloud connectivity. Correct answer is a dedicated high-speed, low-latency it connection between an on-premises data center and a cloud provider. What is the primary characteristic of a public cloud deployment model? It is hosted by a third-party provider and shared among multiple customers. It is hosted on private servers and used by a single organization. It combines elements of both private and public clouds, or it offers dedicated hardware to a single customer isolated from other customers. A public cloud deployment model. Primary characteristic. Correct answer is it is hosted by a third-party provider and shared among multiple customers. What is the main feature of a private cloud deployment model? It is shared among multiple organizations for cost effectiveness. It is hosted and managed by a third-party service provider. It is dedicated to a single organization and managed internally or by a third-party provider, or it is accessible only to a select group of users within a public infrastructure. The main feature of a private cloud deployment model. Correct answer is it is dedicated to a single organization and managed internally or by a third-party provider. And keep in mind, after you have this Network Plus in the bag, there are other AWS or GCP or Azure certifications that you can get, and you'll already know half the information because it's right in here, and you're already halfway there for the next certification if that's something you're interested in. What is the primary advantage of a hybrid cloud deployment model? It provides dedicated resources to a single organization. It combines private and public cloud features for greater flexibility and scalability. It operates entirely in a public cloud, offering a single shared infrastructure, or it offers maximum security by using only on-premise resources. Hybrid cloud deployment model. Correct answer is it combines private and public cloud features for greater flexibility and scalability. What is the main characteristic of software as a service, SaaS? It provides a platform for developing and running applications without managing hardware. It provides infrastructure for hosting and managing virtual machines and storage. It provides users with tools to build applications with full control over the infrastructure, or it offers complete software applications hosted by a third-party provider. Software as a service. Correct answer is it offers complete software applications hosted by a third-party provider. What is the main feature of infrastructure as a service, IaaS? It delivers software applications over the internet with no user management of the underlying hardware. It offers virtualized computing resources like servers, storage, and networking over the cloud. It provides a platform for developing, running, and managing applications without dealing with infrastructure, or it gives users access to databases and tools for building and deploying applications. Infrastructure as a service. Correct answer. It offers virtualized computing resources like servers, storage, and networking over the cloud. What is the primary function of platform as a service, PaaS? To provide a fully managed software application to users, to offer a platform for developers to build, run, and deploy applications without managing underlying infrastructure, to deliver virtual machines and storage for running applications and managing data, or to host and manage databases for user applications. Platform as a service, PaaS. Correct answer is to offer a platform for developers to build, run, and deploy applications without managing underlying infrastructure. What is meant by scalability in cloud computing? The ability to handle increased workload by adding more resources to the system without compromising performance. The ability to restrict the number of users accessing the cloud infrastructure, the ability to ensure data security through encryption and access controls, or the ability to limit the number of applications running on the cloud platform. Scalability in cloud computing. Correct answer is the ability to handle increased workload by adding more resources to the system without compromising performance. What is elasticity in cloud computing? The ability to store data securely in a private cloud infrastructure, the ability to maintain data consistency across multiple servers, the ability to automatically scale resources up or down based on demand, or the ability to perform secure encryption on data being transmitted between cloud services. Elasticity. Correct answer is the ability to automatically scale resources up or down based on demand. What is multi-tenancy in cloud computing? The ability to run multiple operating systems on a single server, the ability of a single instance on a cloud service to serve multiple customers or organizations, each with isolated resources, the ability to scale cloud resources up or down depending on demand, or the use of different cloud models for hosting applications and services. Multi-tenancy. Correct answer is the ability of a single instance of a cloud service to serve multiple customers or organizations, each with isolated resources. What port is used by File Transfer Protocol, or FTP, for data transfer? Port 2021, Port 22, Port 23, or Port 25? File Transfer Protocol, FTP. Correct answer is Port 2021. What port does Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP, use for secure file transfers? Port 21, Port 22, Port 80, or Port 23? Secure File Transfer Protocol, SFTP. Correct answer is Port 22. What is the default port for secure shell communication? Port 21, Port 22, Port 23, or Port 80? Correct answer is Port 22. Which port does Telnet use to allow remote command line access to devices? Port 20, Port 21, Port 23, or Port 25? What port does Telnet use? Correct answer is Port 23. What port does Simple Mail Transfer Protocol, or SMTP, use for sending email? Port 23, Port 25, Port 53, or Port 80? SMTP. Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Correct answer is Port 25. What port does Domain Name System use to resolve domain names to IP addresses? Port 53, Port 22, Port 67, or Port 69? DNS, Domain Name System. What does it use? Correct answer is Port 53. What ports are used by Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP, for assigning IP addresses? Port 5380, Port 6768, Port 22 and 23, or Port 69 and 80? What ports are used by Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol, DHCP? Correct answer is Port 67 and 68. And let me know in the comments if you guys want me to make we did a port number study guide for the 8+ certification. If you need one for the Network Plus, I'd be more than happy to do one. I got some better tips than some of the ones we were struggling with on that one. But what port does Trivial File Transfer Protocol, TFTP, use for file transfers? Port 20, Port 22, Port 69, or Port 80? TFTP. Trivial File Transfer Protocol. Correct answer is Port 69. What port does Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTP, use for web communication? Port 21, Port 22, Port 23, or Port 80? Correct answer is Port 80. What port does Network Time Protocol, NTP, use for time synchronization? Port 123, Port 161 and 162, Port 443, or Port 3389? Network Time Protocol. Correct answer is port 123. What ports are used by Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP, for monitoring network devices? Port 389, port 161 and 162, port 123, or port 587? Simple Network Management Protocol, SNMP. Correct answer is port 161 and 162. What port does Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, or LDAP, use for directory services? Port 389, port 636, port 445, or port 514? What port does Lightweight Directory Access Protocol, LDAP, use for directory services? Correct answer is port 389. What port does Hypertext Transfer Protocol Secure, HTTPS, use for secure web communication? Port 22, port 443, port 5060, or port 3389? HTTPS. Correct answer is port 443. What port does Server Message Block, SMB, use for file and printer sharing? Port 161 and 162, port 587, port 445, or port 5061? Server Message Block, SMB. Correct answer is port 445. What port does syslog use for sending log messages from devices? Port 123, port 514, port 3389, or port 587? What port does syslog use for sending log messages from devices? Correct answer is port 514. What port does Simple Mail Transfer Protocol Secure, SMTPS, use for sending emails securely? Port 587, port 161 and 162, port 443, or port 5061? Simple Mail Transfer Protocol Secure. Correct answer is port 587. What port does Lightweight Directory Access Protocol over SSL, LDAPs, use for secure directory services? Port 389, port 636, port 445, or port 3389? Lightweight Directory Access Protocol over SSL. Correct answer is port 636. What port does Structured Query Language Server use for database communication? Port 1433, port 5060, port 3389, or port 514? SQL Server. Correct answer is port 1433. What port does Remote Desktop Protocol use for remote desktop connections? Port 5061, port 3389, port 443, or port 587? Remote Desktop Protocol, or RDP. Correct answer is port 3389. What ports does Session Initiation Protocol, SIP, use for initiating and managing communication sessions? Port 5060 and 5061, port 443, port 587, or port 3389? Session Initiation Protocol, or SIP. Correct answer is port 5060 and 5061. What is the purpose of Internet Control Message Protocol, or ICMP, in networking? To establish secure communication channels between devices, to route data between different subnets based on IP addresses, to send error messages and operational information about IP processing, or to encrypt data packets during transmission? ICMP. Correct answer is to send error messages and operational information about IP processing. What is the main function of Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP? To provide connectionless, unreliable communication between devices, to route data packets between networks using IP addresses, to provide reliable connection-oriented communication by ensuring the order and integrity of data, or to compress data before sending it over the network. TCP, Transmission Control Protocol. Correct answer is to provide reliable connection-oriented communication by ensuring the order and integrity of data. What distinguishes User Datagram Protocol, or UDP, from Transmission Control Protocol, or TCP? UDP is connection-oriented and reliable, where TCP is connectionless and unreliable. UDP is connectionless and provides faster communication, but without reliability checks. Or UDP is used exclusively for voice communications, while TCP is used for all other types of data transmission. Or UDP is more secure than TCP because it encrypts the data. The difference between User Datagram Protocol, UDP, and Transmission Control Protocol, TCP. Correct answer is UDP is connectionless and provides faster communication, but without reliability checks. What is the purpose of Generic Routing Encapsulation, or GRE? To encrypt data between networks for secure communication, to encapsulate various Layer 3 protocols for tunneling over IP networks, to manage the flow of data between different IP subnets, or to ensure data integrity during transit. Generic Routing Encapsulation, or GRE. Correct answer is to encapsulate various Layer 3 protocols for tunneling over IP networks. What does Internet Protocol Security, IPsec, provide for network communication? It provides secure IP communications by authenticating and encrypting each IP packet. It ensures data is routed efficiently between networks. It provides address allocation for devices within a network, or it enables secure remote access to corporate networks. What does IPsec, Internet Protocol Security, provide for network communication? Correct answer is it provides secure IP communications between authenticating and encrypting each IP packet. What is the role of Authentication Header, AH, in IPsec? To provide data encryption for secure communication, to provide integrity and authentication of data packets, ensuring data authenticity, to manage the distribution of encryption keys between devices, or to route data between networks securely. The role of the Authentication Header in IPsec. Correct answer is to provide integrity and authentication of data packets, ensuring data authenticity. What does Encapsulating Security Payload, ESP, do in IPsec? It provides data confidentiality, integrity, and authentication through encryption. It ensures the routing of data packets between different subnets. It manages the flow of traffic in a network based on security policies, or it authenticates users attempting to access the network. Encapsulating Security Payload in IPsec. Correct answer is it provides data confidentiality, integrity, and authentication through encryption. What is the function of Internet Key Exchange, IKE, in IPsec? To route data securely between different subnets, to monitor network traffic for malicious activity, to establish the security associations and cryptographic keys used in IPsec communication, or to ensure encryption is applied to data during transmission. The function of Internet Key Exchange, or IKE, in IPsec. Correct answer is to establish the security associations and cryptographic keys used in IPsec communication. What type of traffic is a unicast communication? Data sent from one device to multiple devices, data sent from one device to a specific single destination device, data sent from multiple devices to a single destination, or data sent to all devices on a network segment. The type of traffic in a unicast communication. Correct answer is data sent from one device to a specific single destination device. What is multicast traffic? Data sent from one device to multiple specific devices on the network, data sent from one device to a single destination device, data sent from a device to all devices on a network, or data sent from one device to multiple devices without specifying any recipients. Multicast traffic. Correct answer is data sent from one device to multiple specific devices on the network. What type of traffic is anycast communication? Data sent from one device to multiple devices on a network, data sent from one device to the nearest device in a group of possible destinations, data sent from one device to a single destination device, or data sent from one device to all devices on a network. Anycast communication. Correct answer is data sent from one device to the nearest device in a group of possible destinations. What does broadcast traffic refer to in networking? Data sent from one device to all devices on a network segment, data sent from one device to a specific single destination device, data sent from one device to multiple devices on a network, or data sent from one device to the nearest device on the network. Broadcast traffic. Correct answer is data sent from one device to all devices on a network segment. What does the 802.11 standard define in wireless networking? The maximum transmission speeds for fiber optic cables, the specifications for wireless local area networks or WLANs, including frequency bands and data rates, the maximum length of cables used in networking, or the type of switches and routers used in wireless networks. 802.11 standard, what does it define? Correct answer is the specifications for wireless local area networks, including frequency bands and data rates. Which of the following is a key advantage of cellular networks? They provide high-speed data transfer without the need for physical cables. They offer long-range communication over fiber optic cables. They use low-frequency bands to ensure low data latency, or they're used primarily for voice communications and not data transmission. Key advantage of cellular networks. Correct answer is they provide high-speed data transfer without the need for physical cables. What is the primary advantage of satellite communication? It provides long-range wireless communication with low latency. It enables communication in remote areas where wired networks are not feasible. It offers high-speed internet access in urban areas where it uses physical cables for data transfer to ensure faster speeds. The primary advantage of satellite communication. Correct answer is it enables communication in remote areas where wired networks are not feasible. What does the 802.3 standard define in networking? The guidelines for wireless network security protocols, the maximum length of fiber optic cables used for data transmission, the specifications for Ethernet networks including data rates and cable types, or the configuration for home and office networking devices. The 802.3 standard. Correct answer is the specifications for Ethernet networks, including data rates and cable types. What is the difference between single-mode and multi-mode fiber? Single-mode fiber uses a larger core for faster data transmission, while multi-mode fiber uses a smaller core for longer distance. Single-mode fiber supports longer transmission distances with a single light path, while multi-mode fiber uses multiple light paths for shorter distances. Single-mode fiber is used for local area networks, while multi-mode fiber is used for wide area networks. Or single-mode fiber requires more complex equipment for installation than multi-mode fiber. The difference between single-mode and multi-mode fiber. Correct answer is single-mode fiber supports longer transmission distances with a single light path, while multi-mode fiber uses multiple light paths for shorter distances. What is the primary feature of direct attach copper or DAC cables? They provide a low-cost, high-speed alternative to fiber optics for short-distance connections. They are used for longer distance connections in metropolitan area networks. They provide high levels of signal encryption during transmission, or they are primarily used for routing data between wireless devices. The primary feature of direct attach copper or DAC cables. Correct answer is they provide a low-cost, high-speed alternative to fiber optics for short-distance connections. What distinguishes twin-axial cables from coaxial cables? Twin-axial cables are used exclusively for fiber optic communication, while coaxial cables are used for Ethernet. Twin-axial cables are made of fiberglass, while coaxial cables are made of metal. Twin-axial cables have two copper conductors inside a single shield, while coaxial cables have a single conductor. Or twin-axial cables are used for outdoor applications, while coaxial cables are indoor use only. Twin-axial cables from coaxial cables. Correct answer is twin-axial cables have two copper conductors inside a single shield, hence twin, while coaxial cables have a single conductor. What is a key feature of coaxial cables in networking? They are used for high-speed data transmission over long distances without signal degradation. They have a metal shield that protects against interference, making them suitable for both indoor and outdoor use. They're commonly used for wireless communication between routers and devices, or they offer the highest data transmission speeds compared to other types of cables. The key feature of coaxial cables in networking. Correct answer is they have a metal shield that protects against interference, making them suitable for both indoor and outdoor use. What do cable speed ratings determine in networking? The maximum data transmission rate supported by a cable over a specific distance, the physical length of the cable for installation purposes, the voltage levels used to power network devices, or the type of signal modulation used for network communication. Cable speed ratings. Correct answer is the maximum data transmission rate supported by a cable over a specific distance. What is the main difference between plenum and non-plenum cables? Plenum cables have a higher data transmission rate compared to non-plenum cables. Plenum cables are used exclusively for fiber optic connections, while non-plenum cables are used for copper connections. Plenum cables are designed for use in air handling spaces and are made of fire-resistant materials, while non-plenum cables are used in general-purpose areas. Or plenum cables are designed for outdoor use, while non-plenum cables are only used indoors. Correct answer is plenum cables are designed for use in air handling spaces and are made of fire-resistant materials, while non-plenum cables are used in general-purpose areas. What is the main function of a transceiver in networking? To convert analog signals to digital signals for transmission, to convert signals between different types of networking mediums such as fiber and copper, to amplify signals before sending them over long distances, or to provide encryption for data packets. The main function of a transceiver in networking. Correct answer is to convert signals between different types of networking mediums such as fiber and copper. Which of the following is a feature of Ethernet protocol? It defines the way devices on a network communicate using IP addresses. It is used for secure transmission of data between networks. It routes data between different subnets based on logical addresses, or it specifies how data is formatted into frames for transmission over a local area network or LAN. A feature of Ethernet protocol. Correct answer is it specifies how data is formatted into frames for transmission over a local area network. What is the primary use of fiber channel in networking? It is used to provide high-speed communication between servers and storage devices in storage area networks or SANs. It facilitates secure communication over a local area network or LAN. It transmits data between devices in an Ethernet network, or it is used for managing network security across multiple devices. The primary use of fiber channel in networking. Correct answer. It is used to provide high-speed communication between servers and storage devices in storage area networks. What is small form factor pluggable or SFP transceiver used for? To convert digital signals into analog signals for transmission, to provide a physical interface for transmitting high-speed data over fiber optic or copper cables, to convert Ethernet frames into IP packets, or to store and manage network configurations. A small form factor pluggable transceiver. Correct answer is it provides a physical interface for transmitting high-speed data over fiber optic or copper cables. What distinguishes a quad small form factor pluggable QSFP transceiver from a small form factor pluggable SFP? QSFP supports higher data rates and multiple channels, while SFP is typically used for single channel data transfer. QSFP is used exclusively for copper cabling, while SFP is used for fiber optic cabling. QSFP supports only short-distance transmissions, while SFP supports long-distance transmission, or QSFP is smaller and lighter compared to SFP. Which distinguishes one from the other? Correct answer is QSFP supports higher data rates and multiple channels, while SFP is typically used for single-channel data transfer. What is the purpose of a subscriber connector in fiber optic connections? To convert fiber optic signals to electrical signals, to split fiber optic signals into multiple paths, to connect fiber optic cables to network devices with a secure push-pull mechanism, or to prevent fiber optic cables from tangling during installation. The purpose of a subscriber connector in fiber optic connections. Correct answer is to connect fiber optic cables to network devices with a secure push-pull mechanism. What is the primary use of a local connector, LC, in fiber optic networks? It is used to join two cables together for improved signal transmission. It connects fiber optic cables to network devices with a small form factor for high-density applications. It is used to convert electrical signals into fiber optic signals, or it is a type of connector used exclusively for coaxial cables. A local connector in fiber optic networks. Correct answer is it connects fiber optic cables to network devices with a small form factor for high-density applications. What is the purpose of a straight tip connector in fiber optic systems? It provides a secure locking connection for fiber optic cables with a bayonet-style mechanism. It is used to connect fiber optic cables to coaxial cables. It is a tool used to splice fiber optic cables, or it is used to amplify signals during transmission over long distances. The purpose of a straight tip connector in fiber optic systems. Correct answer is it provides a secure locking connection for fiber optic cables with a bayonet-style mechanism. What is a multi-fiber push-on MPO connector used for in fiber optic networks? To connect a single fiber optic cable to network devices, to provide high-density multi-fiber connections with a push-pull mechanism for fast deployment, to split fiber optic signals into multiple paths, or to convert electrical signals into optical signals for fiber transmission. A multi-fiber push-on MPO connector. Correct answer is to provide high-density multi-fiber connections with a push-pull mechanism for fast deployment. What is the purpose of a register jack RJ11 connector? It is used to connect network devices over Ethernet cables. It is used to provide power to networking devices. It is used to connect fiber optic cables to switches, or it is a standard connector used for telecommunication devices, typically for telephone lines. Register jack RJ11 connector. Correct answer is it is a standard connector used for telecommunication devices, typically for telephone lines. What is the primary function of an RJ45 connector? To connect telecommunication equipment like landline phones, to connect network devices to Ethernet cables for wired networking, to provide high-speed fiber optic connections, or to secure wireless devices in an access point. The primary function of an RJ45 connector. Correct answer is to connect network devices to Ethernet cables for wired networking. What is the purpose of an F-type connector in networking? It is used for connecting fiber optic cables to network switches. It is used for connecting high-speed Ethernet cables to routers. It connects local network devices for data transmission, or it is a coaxial cable connector commonly used in cable television and internet applications. An F-type connector in networking. Correct answer is it is a coaxial cable connector commonly used in cable television and internet applications. What is the function of a Bayonnet-Neal-Conselman BNC connector? I think I'm pronouncing that wrong. I think it's Bayonne. What is the function of a BNC connector? It is used for terminating fiber optic cables into network devices. It is a type of coaxial cable connector commonly used in networking and video transmission. It is used for high-speed Ethernet connections over long distances, or it connects network devices to telephone lines for VoIP communication. The function of a BNC connector. Correct answer is it is a type of coaxial cable connector commonly used in networking and video transmission. What is a key characteristic of a mesh network topology? All devices are connected directly to each other, ensuring multiple paths for data transmission. All devices are connected to a central hub or switch. Each device connects to a single central server, or the network consists of multiple subnets connected to a backbone. A key characteristic of a mesh network topology. Correct answer is all devices are directly connected to each other, ensuring multiple paths for data transmission. What is the defining feature of a hybrid network topology? It uses only a single point-to-point connection between devices. It utilizes a single central hub connecting all devices in a linear fashion. It combines multiple topologies, such as star and mesh, to meet specific network needs, or it uses multiple spine and leaf structures for redundancy. A hybrid network topology. Correct answer is it combines multiple topologies, such as star and mesh, to meet specific network needs. What is a key feature of star hub and spoke topology? All devices are directly connected to each other, ensuring redundancy. Each device connects to a central hub, which is the focal point for communication. Each device connects to a series of multiple hubs for redundancy, or the network consists of multiple point-to-point connections between devices. The key feature of a star hub and spoke topology. Correct answer is each device connects to a central hub, which is the focal point for communication. What is the primary advantage of a spine and leaf network topology? It reduces the need for additional switches and routers in the network. It uses a single layer of switches for routing all traffic. It is best suited for low traffic environments with minimal routing needs, or it improves performance and scalability by connecting each leaf switch to every spine switch. The primary advantage of a spine and leaf network topology. Correct answer is it improves performance and scalability by connecting each leaf switch to every spine switch. What best describes a point-to-point network topology? It connects multiple devices in a linear fashion through a single central hub. It creates direct connection between two devices with no intermediate devices. It uses multiple paths to ensure redundancy between devices, or it connects devices using a mesh of interwoven connections between several devices. A point-to-point network topology. Correct answer is it creates a direct connection between two devices with no intermediate devices. In a three-tier hierarchical model, which layer is responsible for providing access to the network and managing user devices? Core layer, distribution layer, access layer, or edge layer? Which layer is responsible for providing access to the network and managing user devices? Correct answer is access layer. In a three-tier hierarchical model, what is the role of the core layer? To connect end-user devices to the network, to aggregate and distribute network traffic between devices in the access layer, to provide high-speed redundant connectivity between distribution switches, or to handle routing between devices in the same subnet. The role of the core layer in the three-tier hierarchical model. Correct answer is to provide high-speed redundant connectivity between distribution switches. In a three-tier hierarchical model, what does the distribution layer do? It connects end-user devices to the network. It handles the routing and policy enforcement between different subnets and VLANs. It provides high-speed, low-latency routing between access switches, or it connects the core layer to the edge network devices. The distribution layer. Correct answer is it handles the routing and policy enforcement between different subnets and LANs. What is a collapsed core network design? A design where the core and distribution layers are combined into a single layer to simplify the network. A network design that uses only a single router and switch for communication. A design that has multiple points of failure to ensure redundancy. Or a network design that uses only wireless communication for data transfer. A collapsed core network design. Correct answer is a design where the core and distribution layers are combined into a single layer to simplify the network. What is the characteristic of a north-south traffic flow in a network? Data flows within the same network segment, usually between local devices. Data flows from one network to another over a wide area. Data flows between the client and the data center, or between the internet and a local network, or data flows between devices in the same layer of the network hierarchy. The characteristic of a north-south traffic flow. Correct answer is data flows between the client and the data center, or between the internet and a local network. What does east-west traffic flow refer to in a network? Data moving between the core and access layers in a hierarchical model. Data flow between devices within the same data center or network segment. Data moving between client devices in the cloud, or data flow from one network segment to another through a router. East-west traffic in a network. Correct answer is data flow between devices with the same data center or network segment. What is the main purpose of automatic private IP addressing, or a PIPA? To assign private IP addresses automatically to devices that cannot obtain an IP address from a DHCP server, to assign public IP addresses to devices on a network, to configure IP addresses manually for devices in a local network, or to configure DHCP servers for large-scale networks. Automatic private IP addressing, or a PIPA. Correct answer is to assign private IP addresses automatically to devices that cannot obtain an IP from a DHCP server. What does RFC 1918 define in networking? It defines how IP addresses are routed over the internet. It specifies the rules for assigning public IP addresses to devices. It defines the range of private IP addresses that can be used in local networks, or it sets the standard for IPv6 addressing. RFC 1918. Correct answer is it defines the range of private IP addresses that can be used in local networks. What is the loopback address in IPv4? The IP address used for network diagnostics, typically 127.0.0.1. The IP address used to route packets across the internet. The address reserved for private network communication, or the address used for communication between different network segments. The loopback address in IPv4. Correct answer is the IP address used for network diagnostics, typically 127.0.0.1. What does variable length subnet masking, VLSM, allow network administrators to do? It limits the number of subnets created within a network. It simplifies the creation of network topologies by using a fixed subnet mask for all subnets. It allows network administrators to allocate IP addresses to different subnets based on need, improving IP address utilization, or it assigns a default subnet mask to each class of IP address. Variable length subnet masking. What does it allow network administrators to do? Correct answer is it allows network administrators to allocate IP addresses to different subnets based on need, improving IP address utilization. What is the main purpose of classless interdomain routing, or CIDR? To allow more efficient use of IP address space by using variable length subnet masks, to assign fixed subnets to each class of IP address, to enable IPv6 addressing for all devices on a network, or to restrict routing updates based on classful network divisions. The main purpose of classless interdomain routing, or CIDR. Correct answer is to allow more efficient use of IP address space by using variable length subnet masks. What range of IP addresses belongs to Class A in IPv4? 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255, 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255, 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255, or 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255. Which one belongs to Class A in IPv4? Correct answer is 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255. What range of IP addresses is used by Class B networks? 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255, 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255, 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255, or 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255. This is going to get very redundant. These next couple questions, I can already feel it. Correct answer is 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. What range of IP addresses belongs to Class C in IPv4? 192.0.0.0 to 192.255.255.255, 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255, 10.0.0.0 to 10.255.255.255, or 172.16.0.0 to 172.31.255.255. Class C. What range of IP addresses belong to Class C? Correct answer is 192.168.0.0 to 192.168.255.255. What class of IP addresses is reserved for multicast communication? Class A, Class B, Class C, or Class D? Correct answer is Class D. What class of IP addresses is reserved for experimental use? Class A, Class B, Class C, or Class E? Correct answer is Class E. What does an application-aware SD-WAN do? It dynamically adjusts the routing of data based on application performance and quality of service requirements. It uses static routing to direct all network traffic across the same path. It solely monitors network traffic for security threats, or it requires manual intervention to manage network traffic. Application-aware SD-WAN. Correct answer is it dynamically adjusts the routing of data based on application performance and quality of service requirements. What is the purpose of zero-touch provisioning in network management? To secure the network by automatically detecting and blocking unauthorized devices, to provide centralized security management for all network devices, to allow network devices to be automatically configured with minimal manual intervention during installation, or to ensure all devices use the latest software patches without user interaction. Zero-touch provisioning in network management. Correct answer is to allow network devices to be automatically configured with minimal manual intervention during installation. What does the term transport agnostic mean in the context of SD-WAN? The ability to use any type of underlying transport network such as MPLS, LTE, or broadband without affecting the SD-WAN functionality. The network can only operate over specific types of connections like MPLS or VPNs. The transport is encrypted and isolated from the rest of the network, or it automatically selects the fastest available transport network for data transmission. What does the term transport agnostic mean in the context of SD-WAN? Correct answer is the ability to use any type of underlying transport network such as MPLS, LTE, or broadband without affecting the SD-WAN functionality. What is central policy management in SD-WAN? It relies on individual devices to configure their own network policies independently. It uses machine learning to automatically adjust network policies based on traffic patterns. It monitors and enforces security policies only at the edge of the network, or it allows administrators to define and enforce network policies for all devices and users from a single central point. Central policy management in SD-WAN. Correct answer is it allows administrators to define and enforce network policies for all devices and users from a single central point. What is the primary function of Virtual Extensible Local Area Network, or VXLAN? It extends Layer 2 network segments over Layer 3 networks to enable network virtualization. It provides high-level encryption for data traveling through public networks. It divides a network into smaller, more manageable subnets, or it allows multiple networks to be merged into one large subnet. The primary function of Virtual Extensible Local Area Network, or VXLAN. Correct answer is it extends Layer 2 network segments over Layer 3 networks to enable network virtualization. What is the purpose of Data Center Interconnect, or DCI? To secure communication between devices within a single data center, to improve the performance of local area networks within a data center, to provide connectivity and communication between geographically separated data centers, or to connect individual network devices to cloud services. The purpose of Data Center Interconnect. DCI. Correct answer is to provide connectivity and communication between geographically separated data centers. What type of encapsulation is typically used in SD-WAN to ensure secure data transmission across networks? Layer 2 encapsulation, which allows data to be transported through different network types while managing Layer 2 properties. Layer 3 encapsulation for faster routing of IP packets. Application layer encapsulation to improve application delivery, or data link layer encapsulation to ensure error-free communication. What type of encapsulation is typically used in SD-WAN to ensure secure data transmission across networks? Correct answer is Layer 2 encapsulation, which allows data to be transported through different network types while maintaining Layer 2 properties. What is Zero Trust Architecture? A security model where devices inside the network are automatically trusted based on the internal network location. A firewall-based security approach that protects the perimeter of the network. A system that uses biometric authentication exclusively for security. Or a security model that assumes no implicit trust for any user or device, regardless of its location, requiring verification at every access point. Zero Trust Architecture, ZTA. Correct answer is a security model that assumes no implicit trust for any user or device, regardless of its location, requiring verification at every access point. What is policy-based authentication in network security? A security mechanism that grants access based on user behavior analysis. A system that uses machine learning to adapt authentication protocols dynamically. A method where network access decisions are made based on predefined policies such as user roles or location. Or a mechanism that denies access based on failed login attempts. Policy-based authentication. Correct answer is a method where network access decisions are made based on predefined policies such as user roles or location. What is the principle of least privilege access? It ensures that users only have the minimal level of access necessary to perform their job functions, reducing security risks. It grants users unlimited access to all network resources for efficiency. It allows users to access sensitive data without the need for authentication, or it enforces multi-factor authentication for all users regardless of their access needs. The principle of least privilege access. Correct answer, it ensures that users only have the minimal level of access necessary to perform their job functions, reducing security risks. What is Secure Access Secure Edge, SASE, in network security? A method to secure data transmission within a private local area network, a security model that only allows access to internal systems when users are within the corporate office, a firewall security system designed to protect a company's perimeter against external attacks, or a security framework that combines networking and security into a unified cloud-delivered service to protect users and devices regardless of location. What is a Secure Access Secure Edge, SASE, in network security? Correct answer is a security framework that combines networking and security into a unified cloud-delivered service to protect users and devices regardless of location. What does Security Service Edge, or SSE, focus on in network security? It provides end-to-end encryption for all network traffic. It secures the internal network infrastructure from external threats. It integrates security features like secure web gateways and data protection into cloud-delivered services. Or it offers a physical firewall device that protects the network perimeter. Security Service Edge, or SSE, what does it focus on? Correct answer is it integrates security features like secure web gateways and data protection into cloud-delivered services. What is the primary goal of Infrastructure as Code, or IAC? To automate the process of managing and provisioning infrastructure through code, to manually configure infrastructure components for greater control, to create physical infrastructure configurations without using software, or to rely on hardware solutions for network management. The primary goal of Infrastructure as Code. Correct answer is to automate the process of managing and provisioning infrastructure through code. What is the purpose of using playbooks, templates, and reusable tasks in IAC automation? To ensure that configurations are manually written and managed, to test network hardware for compatibility, to monitor the performance of infrastructure services, or to standardize infrastructure configurations for consistency and efficiency. The purpose of using playbooks, templates, and reusable tasks in IAC, Infrastructure as Code, automation. Correct answer is to standardize infrastructure configurations for consistency and efficiency. What is configuration drift in IAC and how is it managed? Configuration drift refers to the failure to upgrade systems regularly and is managed by periodic audits. Configuration drift refers to errors in system automation and is managed by using manual overrides. Configuration drift refers to changes over time that cause infrastructure configurations to deviate from their intended state and is managed by continuously enforcing the, I'm assuming that says design, or configuration drift refers to hardware failure and is managed by replacing faulty devices. Correct answer. It refers to changes over time that cause infrastructure configurations to deviate from their intended state and is managed continuously by continuously enforcing. And again, I assume that this says design, but this is an error on me that this is not fully displayed in there because that should not be happening like that. I apologize. What is the primary purpose of upgrades in IAC? To improve the performance and security of the infrastructure through updated code and configurations, to replace all existing infrastructure with new physical hardware, to change the network topology for better speed, or to reduce the need for automated provisioning in IAC. The primary purpose of upgrades in Infrastructure as Code. Correct answer is to improve the performance and security of the infrastructure through updated code and configuration. What is a dynamic inventory in IAC? A predefined set of hardware devices to be used in network provisioning, a static list of all software components within an infrastructure, a list of user permissions for accessing network infrastructure, or a collection of real-time data about the infrastructure components used by IAC automation. Dynamic inventory. Correct answer is a collection of real-time data about the infrastructure components used by IAC automation. What is a role of source control in IAC? To ensure infrastructure components are allocated manually, to store encrypted user data in the cloud, to track and manage changes to infrastructure code ensuring version consistency, or to automate the process of provisioning network hardware. The role of source control in IAC. Correct answer is to track and manage changes to infrastructure code ensuring version consistency. What does version control in IAC help to achieve? It allows teams to track changes to infrastructure code, enabling rollbacks and collaboration. It ensures that only one version of a configuration can exist at any time. It prevents infrastructure updates from being implemented in live environments, or it prevents the sharing of infrastructure configurations between teams. What does version control in IAC help to achieve? Correct answer is it allows teams to track changes to infrastructure code, enabling rollbacks and collaboration. What is a central repository in the context of IAC? A tool for manually deploying hardware across multiple locations, a temporary storage location for configuration backups, a system that provides real-time monitoring of infrastructure performance, or a centralized location where infrastructure code and configuration files are stored and managed. Central repository in the context of IAC. Correct answer is a centralized location where infrastructure code and configuration files are stored and managed. What is the role of conflict identification in IAC? To detect and resolve discrepancies between different versions of infrastructure configurations, to prevent unauthorized users from accessing infrastructure, to monitor the performance of network traffic, or to enforce security protocols during deployment. The role of conflict identification in IAC. Correct answer is to detect and resolve discrepancies between different versions of infrastructure configurations. What is the purpose of branching in IAC? To isolate the infrastructure code from external networks, to monitor the performance of different network devices, to create parallel versions of the infrastructure code for testing and deployment without affecting the main configuration, or to encrypt configurations for secure storage. The purpose of branching in IAC. Correct answer is to create parallel versions of the infrastructure code for testing and development without affecting the main configuration. What is the primary benefit of IPv6 addressing in modern networks? It mitigates the exhaustion of IPv4 addresses by providing a much larger address space. It enables faster data transmission by reducing the number of hops in routing. It allows for dynamic IP address allocation in smaller networks, or it uses simpler, shorter IP address formats for ease of management. The primary benefit of IPv6 addressing in modern networks. Correct answer is it mitigates the exhaustion of IPv4 addresses by providing a much larger address space. How does IPv6 mitigate address exhaustion? By requiring a smaller number of network devices, by using dynamic IP address allocation to reduce address uses, by allocating public IP addresses to every device in a network, or providing a vastly larger address space with 128-bit addresses compared to IPv4's 32-bit addresses. Correct answer is by providing a vastly larger address space with 128-bit addresses compared to IPv4's 32-bit addresses. What is the compatibility requirement for IPv6 to work with IPv4? Tunneling is used to encapsulate IPv6 packets within IPv4 packets for transmission over IPv4 networks. IPv6 and IPv4 are incompatible and cannot operate on the same network. IPv6 devices must be manually configured to work with IPv4 systems, or IPv4 must be upgraded to IPv6 before IPv6 can function on. Correct answer is tunneling is used to encapsulate IPv6 packets within IPv4 packets for transmission over IPv4 networks. What is tunneling in the context of IPv6? A method of routing IPv6 traffic through IPv4 only networks using special equipment. A protocol that converts IPv6 addresses into IPv4 addresses for compatibility. The process of encapsulating IPv6 packets inside IPv4 packets to enable communication across IPv4 networks, or the mechanism used to automatically assign IPv6 addresses to devices. What is tunneling in the context of IPv6? Correct answer is the process of encapsulating IPv6 packets inside IPv4 packets to enable communication across IPv4 networks. What is the benefit of using a dual stack configuration in IPv6 deployment? It reduces the need for routing tables by using both IPv4 and IPv6 protocols for routing decisions. It assigns 2 IPv6 addresses to each device, increasing network capacity. It enables encryption of IPv6 traffic on IPv4 networks, or it allows both IPv4 and IPv6 to operate on the same network, ensuring compatibility during the transition. The benefit of using dual stack configuration in IPv6 deployment is that it allows both IPv4 and IPv6 to operate on the same network, ensuring compatibility during the transition. What does NAT64 allow in IPv6 networks? It allows for faster routing between IPv6 devices. It converts IPv6 addresses into dynamic addresses based on user location. It enables communication between IPv6 and IPv4 networks by translating IPv6 packets into IPv4 packets, or it encrypts IPv6 data before sending it across the network. NAT64, what does it allow in IPv6 networks? Correct answer, it enables communication between IPv6 and IPv4 networks by translating IPv6 packets into IPv4 packets. And that is the last question. It feels like it's been a million years in just this one section of the Network Plus exam objectives. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys got something out of it. I'm sorry that it's so challenging sometimes for me to read. I'm sitting in a dark room staring at the screen, and I'm kind of getting hypnosis by the computer screen. So I apologize for that. I had quite a handful of blunders, but what else is new? Anyway, I hope that was helpful for you. And stay tuned for the rest of the Network Plus guides and tips and tricks, as well as Security Plus, Project Plus, A Plus, and many other things on this channel. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I will see you as always in the next one.